Okay, hi. So welcome to my new series, How Do I Prepare That? So first of all, what do we have? Look at this giant green. I'm always telling clients to eat their cruciferous vegetables or eat their dark leafy greens. We all need so much folate. It helps with all of our DNA, helps our body to reduce inflammation. Sometimes if we don't have enough folate, then we create inflammation. We need it to help with those biochemical pathways to help to move things out. It also helps the liver. The liver needs so much folate. And we get that from foliage. So we need to eat our dark leafy greens, and our cruciferous vegetables have even more health benefits. So this is a Napa cabbage. It's a type of Asian cabbage. I think it's delicious raw or cooked. So I'm gonna show you today what I do with it. So this one is enormous. Look at this, it's like bigger than my head. The first thing I do, I wash it really well. I even make sure I wash in between the leaves because a lot of times the dirt can be in there. And see how this leaf looks a little bit wilty and stuff? I'm gonna pull those outer leaves out. I could put them through a juicer if I want. I compost, and so I'm just gonna pull off any of the damaged leaves, and it's gonna leave me this little shell. So this is still considered a dark leafy green, even though it has this yellowy color. It is so full of vitamins and minerals. It's one of those greens that's not as bitter as something like an arugula. Sometimes people think kale is bitter. So it's a little more tender. It's great if you're introducing greens to your kids. They're gonna love it. It's kind of a slightly sweet taste. Like I said, it's Asian. It's in a lot of Asian foods. You've probably eaten it before and didn't even know it. So this one's huge. I don't even know. So usually what I do is cut off the end, but because it's so big, I may not use the whole thing. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to use the whole thing because I'm going to use it for 2 dishes to show you how I use it. When it's this big, I will usually pull off some of these larger leaves and lay them down on top of each other and just stack them like so. It has these really tender green leaves here, and then this white stem is sweet and crispy, kind of like a sweet water chestnut. If you've ever had water chestnuts, maybe that's new to you too. It's in a lot of Asian foods as well. And so I'm going to line them up, and if you can see, it's got kind of a rough edge there. I'm going to cut that edge off. It'd be a little fibrous in the teeth. It's okay if you eat it, but I'm going to cut it off. Now I'll even put these leaves in smoothies when I make green smoothies, because even though it has this white, it's so high in minerals, that wonderful cruciferous vegetable. It's a sulfur-rich food. It helps with the sulfation pathways of the liver. This is my right side. The picture may be reversed. It's really mild, and so it's really good if you're just starting out with green juices or green smoothies. It's great for that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to have them stacked up together. I'm going to thinly slice this way, and you can see I get these little strips. Now these are great to stir fry, saute them with some mushrooms and some onions. That would be delicious. It also makes a really great coleslaw. Nice and sweet and crispy, very watery, very hydrating. Very good. So I am going to make some for a salad, and then I'm going to be sauteing some of it. So I'm going to continue this way. Now what I can also do is I can cut it once lengthwise, because as you can see, those leaves get bigger at the top. This way it's still going to be, and look, I just folded it over. I didn't say what I'm doing. I'm going to just thinly slice. Now notice when I chop, the end of my knife, I'm not chopping this way. Like when we hear on TV, we hear, that's not what we should hear when we're really slicing. We want to do, I call it the rock and roll. We just kind of slide the knife back, slice down, slide forward. Down, slide, down, slide, down, slide. You want to make sure you have nice sharp knives as well. If your knife is dull, that's when it slides, that's when we get cut. So sometimes we think it's better if our knife's not as sharp, but the sharper the knife, the better cut you're going to get through your foods and less chance of it sliding and cutting you. All right, so I'm gonna continue cutting this. Okay, so I chopped about half of the Napa cabbage, and I filled up my salad bowl here. Now I'm going to do the other half. So now you can see I have a much smaller Napa cabbage. I'm going to prepare this one to saute. I'm going to saute it here instead of behind me so that you can see better. Let me turn this on. And this time I'm going to, because it's smaller, I'm going to cut the end off. You can see I cut about 1/2 inch off. That's the root. And then if we look at the bottom, we can see we just have the rings. It kind of looks like a tree. I'm gonna hold it like this, and as long as I can hold it steady, see it starts to slide, I might lose some control. So if I feel like I'm gonna be out of control, then I'm gonna separate the leaves like I did before. But I can just thinly slice. You can see I even have this little core. The little core came out, but all the root is gone, and so it kind of just falls apart like onions. Thinly slice. Now for some of your other Chinese cabbages, they have this white crispy part and the leafy greens. Thinking of like a bok choy, you want to saute the white parts, the crispier parts first. This one is very condensed, and so I think I can just do all of it at one time. And one of my favorite things to do is saute onions and mushrooms, and then it kind of makes like an onion broth, and then sauteing the Napa cabbage, not bok choy, in there. Or even just steaming. I could put water in a pot, set these greens inside the steamer basket, just steam it, and then lightly salt it when it comes out, or whatever salt-free flavoring you like if you don't eat salt. So you can see my cabbage is kind of going everywhere. You need a really big, cutting board, or I could have cut it in half just to have a little better control over it. So here we go. Here is our Napa cabbage. It is ready to go into our skillet. And then I just have some water here to saute it in. But before I do that, I want to get my onions ready. So I showed you that I already have my salad. I like onions on salad and in my stir fry, so I'm gonna go ahead and chop both of them for both at the same time. Let me get another cutting board so that you can see if I have room here. I kind of crowded myself out here, didn't I? There we go. There we go. I'm going to chop 3 onions and put half in my skillet and half in my salad. Do I have to do it all at the same time? Absolutely not. I just cut the root ends off. I could just have used half of the Napa cabbage. I could have bought a small Napa cabbage, and that would have worked too. So you can hear a little more chopping because this is tough. So onions also have sulfur in them. They're part of the allium family. They are fabulous for the liver and detoxification. And so we want to eat some raw. The same with the cruciferous vegetables, this Napa cabbage. It is healthy to eat it steamed, but it's also healthy to eat it raw. So if you could do both, that is great. So eat some steamed cruciferous vegetables, maybe with your dinner, and have some raw at lunchtime. For you, if it causes any gas or bloating, then just steam it and cook it. Don't have it raw. Sometimes people will bring some water to a boil, pour it over the cabbage, stir and strain. Just do it for a minute. You know, you pour the boiling water onto it, stir and strain, and then that makes it easier on your digestive tract as well. So I'm going to put half of the onions in my water. I just have a couple of tablespoons of water in here. You may hear it sizzling. I'm going to put the other half of my onions, that was 3 green onions total, on my salad. And then I can move my cutting board out of my way. If I had mushrooms, I would saute mushrooms in the onions, but I don't have to. While these are starting, I'm going to go ahead and add my cabbages, this Napa cabbage, to this water. Those little green onions are going to make me cry. This is why I don't chop onions on film. All right, I add them in. And then I'm going to hide my knife from myself. Finish chopping this Napa cabbage. Now, I can add whatever herbs I want. Like I said, usually Napa cabbage is in like Chinese and Japanese food. But you could put any seasoning in here you want. It's so mild and tender. It's going to really do well with any of your flavors. Sometimes I will add some coconut aminos. If you tolerate coconut aminos, like cocoa aminos, then that might be good for you. You could leave it out. Like I said, you could sprinkle a little bit of salt. You could sprinkle some garlic salt. You could grate some ginger and garlic over the top. That would be absolutely delicious. As a matter of fact, I think that I will grate some garlic on top. I'm gonna have mine with meatloaf. I'm not sure if that would go good with the ginger. I'm not going for an Asian theme, so let me grab my grater. Garlic, also from the allium family, fabulous for heart health, for the digestive system, for your DNA, for detoxification. So here's a garlic clove. I always press it to crack it. Now I press, I have cabbage on my hands. I press it on the part that's not sharp. I don't want to press on that. I might cut myself. I press on the part that's not sharp. Press it down to crack it, and then those skins pop right off. And I end up with this little hard tip. Can you see that? And so I'm going to cut that little piece off. Now, if I were going to eat it raw, I would let it sit for a minute so those enzymes come together, the allanase enzymes that are so healing. I'm going to be sauteing mine, so I'm just going to, you know what, I got my grater for a reason, didn't I? I can just use my little grater, grate the garlic right over the top. I could do the same thing with some ginger root, grate some ginger root right on top. Don't want to grate my fingers. And I do like a little bit of salt on mine. And so I'm not going to use the coconut aminos. I don't really want the Asian flavor today. I'm going to just use a grated garlic, clove, and a teaspoon of salt. All right, this only takes a few minutes to saute, but while it is sauteing, I will chop the other ingredients for my salad, and then you'll see I have sauteed Napa cabbage and a Napa cabbage salad. All right, every week I make a rainbow salad. So our Napa cabbage gives us green, but so does cucumber. So we have green, we have red with a tomato. Now, if I want my salad to last more than a day or so, I'm not gonna put the tomato in. That will make everything wilt a little bit faster. With the cucumber, if I want my salad to last a while, I take the seeds out. If I'm going to eat it all in one day, if I'm gonna have a family meal with, large family, then I will take the seeds out. If I'm eating it in one day, I'll leave the seeds in. All right, and then I have a yellow bell pepper. So I have red, orange, yellow, green. I'm going to need to add some red onion or some, which is really purple colored, right? Or some purple cabbage, something like that to give it that purple color, but you see where I go. So I try to make a rainbow salad every day. So I also mix up my leafy greens. So today we're learning how to prepare Napa cabbage, but next week I'll be using kale, or I may be using romaine or something like that to use a different leafy green. I want to rotate those greens because all of my microbes feed off of different nutrients. I get different nutrients from different vegetables, so I don't want to get stuck in a rut and eat the same thing every day, and I want a lot of variety. So I'm going to chop my salad while this steams, and then I'll show you the finished product. Okay, I decided that I need a splash of color here. I wish I had some red bell pepper, that would be even prettier, but just add a little splash of yellow bell pepper in here. Okay, I filmed myself to see how long it would take for me to make to talk to you, explain everything, saute the Napa cabbage, and make the rainbow salad, because so many people I talk to are doing meal prep and they say I don't have time. So 30 minutes went from grabbing the ingredients out, washing the ingredients, talking to you, and creating the sauteed Napa cabbage and the everyday salad. 30 minutes start to finish. I even cleaned up the countertop, washed the cutting board, and washed the knife. So in 30 minutes, I have my side dish for my dinner and my salad to go in my refrigerator. This will last me a few days. You can see how big it is. If I was having a dinner party, then it probably would be just enough for tonight. I don't know, it might last 2 days even. I left the tomato on the side for tonight because it's only 2 of us tonight. We're not gonna eat all of this tonight. Now, I have some seeds over here. Whenever I eat greens or a salad, I like to have some healthy fat with it. Olives would be great. Sliced avocado would be great. I have pumpkin seeds for zinc. I have sunflower seeds for the lecithin. and vitamin E, and the vitamin E's in all of them. And I have some sesame seeds, which are higher in calcium. So I can choose whichever one I want. But that healthy fat is gonna help me to absorb some of my nutrients. And the same with the leafy greens. Now, my favorite tool for serving leafy greens is a pasta server. That's weird, right? It's great for zoodles or for stir-fried Napa cabbage. So, how do you prepare that Napa cabbage? Here we go. I have it steamed. I did add some yellow bell pepper. It's got a little salty flavor, a little garlic. Remember, I grated the garlic on there, but you can add whatever spices you want. I used 2 tablespoons of water. It released its own water to make this. And then everything, I'm eating everything. You know, if I boil it and then I take it out of the water, a lot of my nutrients are lost in the water. I could lightly steam it in a steamer basket over the water. That would retain even more nutrients. Or I could eat it raw in a coleslaw. I love it with a coleslaw dressing, or as a part of my everyday salad, this rainbow salad. And it is delicious and nutritious. So create it however way you want to make it, either steamed, sauteed, throw it in a stir fry. It is such a versatile vegetable. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please hit subscribe, like my channel, like this video, comment below. I love to hear from you, and let me know what else you would like to know how to prepare. My new series, How Do I Prepare This? Anyway, I love to hear from you. Make this Napa cabbage. Let me know. Enjoy.